the Investing News Network, I am Brian McGovern, here today at the Lift Cannabis Expo in Vancouver with Guillermo Delmonte from Organigram, the President of International Division. Guillermo, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
So Guillermo, you just finished your panel about the international markets for the cannabis space. Can you talk about, obviously your focus has been in the Latin American market, what has been sort of the evolution of that market so far in 2018, moving into 2019?
Well, actually, we are not only focused on the Latin American markets, we are also in the European. So far, the investment that we have made and disclosed are in the European markets, but international, since I'm from there, that's my region, where I started 4 or 5 years ago. We have seen a lot of evolution, but primarily from the regulation side. A lot of countries are moving towards the legalization. Back then, 2 years ago, it was just Uruguay who wanted to allow the production for the recreation and for the medicinal cannabis, and right now we see other countries such as Colombia that they granted a lot of licenses and there are a lot of companies producing there, and other countries such as Argentina and Brazil, they are starting to open to the cannabis market either for the consumption for medicinal purposes, and at a certain point they are starting to discuss what they're going to do on the production. In the case of Brazil, for example, they changed president. The new president assumed January 1st, 2018, so there's a lot of expectations there on what should be happening in the next 1 or 2 years.
When it comes to the international expansion, so you mentioned Europe and Latin America as well, it's been a big market for the Canadian firms. From the point of view of a Canadian producer of cannabis, what is sort of the strategy? What is sort of the idea that you hear countries coming up legal? What is sort of what dictates which markets you want to pursue?
Well, it's going to depend. More than the markets, where's the real opportunity? We receive dozens of different ideas and opportunities every single week. But for us, the challenge, we are actively exploring different opportunities, and the challenge is to find the best opportunity. And to say that is, first of all, to go to the country, to fully understand the legal framework, to verify the real interest from the government, that the government really want to develop the industry. So you can set which is going to be your strategy there. If you are going to set up a production hub, or you are just thinking about exporting and distributing your final product in that country. What we are doing is that, first of all, going there, meeting the government to fully understand what is the legal framework, then trying to find the best local partner, someone that speaks the language. And to say that, I don't mean someone that just speaks Spanish or Portuguese, someone that fully understands the environment for doing business there, someone that is able to build up a team, to secure sales and distribution channels, and that have the access to supplier. And the third of all, and that's why I mentioned Europe, because that was our priority for last year, we need to be sure that we are going to be able to deliver what is needed there. And right now, I came from here and from there, and it was tough for us because we didn't have the expertise, the knowledge, and the technology. So those are the kind of the things that the opportunities overseas are needing. More than the money, they need the expertise, the knowledge, the technology, the genetics. So we need first to be sure that we are going to be able to deliver that. So once, if everything suits, we are going to move forward.
Okay. When it comes to that international expansion, the Canadian firms we've seen setting up bases, acquiring assets, but coming back and translating that information to investors. Can you talk about how specific you have to be, how detailed you have to be, because we're seeing the scrutiny levels rise, right? These investors are getting savvier, getting smarter, they want to know more about the specifics of every investment they're making in the cannabis space. We've seen companies get in trouble for assets that may or may not be what they are. So how crucial it is for you when you're talking with investors or when you're talking with the company saying, here's what we're getting into, here's the market that we're going to explore, and here's A, B, C, D, exactly how it's going to go.
Yes, you need to think about this. The investor is not living there, and if you are, for example, we made an investment last year in a German company, and our investors were here, and so we need first of all to educate them about what was the opportunity there, what was the legal framework. Because there was going to be a public tender in Germany that the investors have no idea. And each country has its own rules. There are no standards in the industry going global. Definitely, Canada is a role model and everyone is kind of following what it's doing. But each country, because of its own internal culture, the preconcept toward the cannabis that the own people have, also the politics, the type of government that they have, how many years they have remaining on the mandate, and also the last one, the economic need. If they really need the investment, the foreign investment right now for job creation and taxes. So all of them are going to decide the opportunity and the strategy that you need to take into that. And regarding investors, you need to educate them. You need to tell them what's the story, what's the opportunity, and then you need to set a timeline with your milestones. And the only thing that they are going to be sure that you are achieving them is showing them that you have the capacity to execute everything that you said you were going to do. So that's what we are doing, and I believe that these kind of things are normal for every market. At the beginning, this was a new industry, and the investors have few information, but as you said, investors are getting more and more information. They are traveling. I met today a couple of investors that they are not based in Vancouver, and they just came here to keep learning about the industry.
Okay. Guillermo, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Brian.
For the Investing News Network, I'm Brian McGovern, right here from the Lift Cannabis Expo in Vancouver.